So like boundaries are there, and the details of popliteal artery are asked. Okay. So Meghana, did you understand what Hema told? Okay, let me repeat better. Okay. So popliteal fossa is a diamond-shaped fossa which is present behind the knee joint. So you see, superomedially is this boundary. Superolaterally is this boundary. Superomedially we have semimembranosus, semitendinosus. Superolaterally we have biceps. Infерomedially, medial head of gastrocnemius. Inferolaterally, lateral head of gastrocnemius. Okay, these are the boundaries. Now see, you are seeing that cadaver is lying like with prone position. You are finding this is the back of the knee joint. Now you have given a diamond-shaped incision. Okay, and you are seeing this is the roof. Once you have removed the skin, you are coming across skin, superficial fascia, deep fascia. Okay, and you are finding cutaneous nerves like posterior cutaneous nerve of the thigh, posterior division of medial cutaneous nerve of the thigh, then small saphenous vein draining in the popliteal vein, peroneal communicating nerve. Okay, all this you should write. This is roof. After you remove the roof, you will see floor. Floor, the most important thing is that this is the femur, posterior surface. You call this as popliteal surface of femur, which is covered by popliteal fascia. Okay. Then apart from that, you are also finding there is a ligament here that is oblique popliteal ligament and capsule of knee joint. This dotted line actually indicates capsule of knee joint. Okay, beta. Then contents. As Hema told us, we have popliteal vein, artery and nerve. Medial to lateral. If you observe, AVN is the order in the upper one third. That means artery is medial, vein is in the middle and nerve. The terminal division of sciatic into tibial and common peroneal nerve is seen laterally. Then, in the middle of the fossa, the arrangement is one below the other, nerve, vein and artery. Okay, you have tibial nerve, popliteal vein and artery in the deeper compartment. One below the other, popliteal artery. As you come down, in the lower one third of the popliteal fossa, we have like NVA. You remember this course, it becomes easy better. Nerve is tibial nerve medially, popliteal vein in the middle and popliteal artery laterally. These are the contents. Now in our question presently, we are asked to elaborate popliteal artery. We know popliteal artery is the continuation of femoral artery. Femoral artery is seen in the front of the thigh. In the front of the thigh, femoral artery is passing through opening in adductor magnus, and now this is the posterior aspect, isn't it? Hiatus of adductor magnus will give passage of femoral artery. Now that femoral artery continues behind as popliteal artery. Okay, so this popliteal artery will have certain branches. What are the branches it has? See, because it is now going and supplying the knee joint, you call these branches as genicular arteries. Genicular. Okay. So superior medial genicular, superior lateral genicular. Inferior medial genicular, inferior lateral genicular. Towards fibula is lateral. Towards tibia is medial. You remember that, it becomes easy. In the middle, you have middle genicular artery. Okay, beta? As you go down, this popliteal artery is finally terminating into anterior tibial artery and posterior tibial artery. These are the terminal subdivisions of popliteal artery. Anterior tibial enters into the anterior compartment of the leg. Posterior tibial artery is actually further subdividing into like peroneal artery. Peroneal artery goes and supplies lateral compartment of the leg. Posterior tibial artery supplies posterior compartment of the leg. So this is the thing what you are supposed to write for this answer better. Describe the boundaries, contents of popliteal fossa and describe the branches of popliteal artery. Okay. Next question is hamstring muscles better for 5 marks. Hamstring muscles, just name them, Hema, till I open the page. Hamstring means which compartment better?
Semimembranosus,
excellent.
semitendinosus. The posterior compartment.
Excellent, excellent. Posterior compartment of dash.
Semimembranosus, semitendinosus, biceps femoris.
Yeah, excellent.
Of thigh, ma'am. Posterior compartment of thigh.
Very good, very good. Back of the thigh. You should be complete in your answer better. Okay, don't use shortcuts. Okay. So back of the thigh, we have hamstrings. As you said, we have semimembranosus, semitendinosus, biceps femoris, and also we have adductor magnus. Okay.
Adductor magnus.
Yeah. So adductor magnus comes in two compartments. It comes in medial compartment. It also comes in posterior compartment. Okay, beta?
Yes.
So now the origin is all ischial tuberosity, beta. Diagram will be there. See, this is ischial tuberosity. Semitendinosus. You can see from the ischial tuberosity, there is one oblique line lower down. So medially, you will see the origin of semitendinosus, and laterally, you are finding the origin of long head of biceps. Okay. Short head of biceps actually comes from the linea aspera, lateral lip of the linea aspera, lower 2/3. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
When you see the semitendinosus, it is getting inserted into the upper part of the shaft of the tibia, and the biceps, short and long head, they get inserted into the head of the fibula. Okay. Like that, we are seeing two muscles. Now coming to semimembranosus, it is also coming from the upper part of the ischial tuberosity. Okay, above the oblique line. Then you are finding semimembranosus is going and getting inserted on the posterior aspect of the medial condyle of the tibia. This is tibia bone, posterior surface of the medial condyle. Of course, it expands. We see this in knee joint. We have seen recently, semimembranosus. It expands as oblique popliteal ligament. Okay. Then, of course, adductor magnus. So adductor magnus is actually, it is coming again from the linea aspera completely. Okay. And the insertion is adductor magnus, from where does it come? I'm sorry, but ischiopubic ramus. If you remember hip bone, we have ischium and pubis. In between, there is a connecting rib bone. You call it as ischiopubic ramus. So from the ischiopubic ramus, you will see adductor magnus comes, and it is completely getting inserted here into the linea aspera. And its insertion goes up to adductor tubercle. Just now I was talking about opening in adductor magnus. This is the opening. Hiatus in the adductor magnus, through which you will see femoral artery continues as popliteal artery. Okay. So all these is given here. All are supplied by sciatic nerve only, beta. Okay. These are hamstrings. Semimembranosus, semitendinosus, biceps femoris, adductor magnus. Magnus is coming from ischial tuberosity, ramus of ischium, ramus of pubis. Together you call it as ischiopubic ramus. Okay, it is getting inserted in linea aspera, gluteal tuberosity, adductor tubercle, medial supracondylar line. So all are being supplied by sciatic nerve. Okay, so the all are tibial components because this is posterior, no. But short head is supplied. Short head of biceps is supplied by common peroneal component of sciatic nerve. At least if you write sciatic nerve also, it's okay, beta. Okay. And we know adductor magnus is present in both compartments, medial compartment and also posterior compartment. That's why adductor part is supplied by obturator nerve, which is the nerve of medial compartment. Hamstring part is supplied by tibial part of sciatic nerve. Sciatic nerve is the nerve of posterior compartment. Okay. Now, action also you should write better. Semitendinosus is chief flexor of knee and medial rotator of leg. In semiflex knee. Semimembranosus, chief flexor of knee and medial rotator. Same action. Almost everything. But biceps is lateral rotator of leg, better. It's present laterally, no? Supplied also by common peroneum. Like that. Okay? Short head. So adductor causes, as the name suggests, adduction of thigh. Adduction of thigh. At least one action you write better. Okay? That will give you complete 5 marks. Okay, choose the points judiciously, whichever is easy. You can use whatever.
My voice is breaking, ma'am.
Okay, my voice is breaking. Okay, you just write this table.
Now it is nice.
And draw these diagrams. Anatomy is nothing without diagrams. Okay.
Yes.
This is sciatic nerve, complete sciatic nerve. You can see it is bifurcating into two. This is popliteal fossa only, behind the knee joint. The bifurcation is tibial nerve medially, common peroneal nerve laterally. Okay. Meghana, are you able to understand, or am I fast better because you had difficulty with limbs? Meghana?
Yes, ma'am, I can understand.
Okay, better. Please stop me if you are not understanding anywhere. Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Hamstrings, thoracic duct. Then we have a question for 3 marks, beta. Dorsalis pedis artery. That means here we have 30 marks. What is dorsalis pedis artery, beta? It's the continuation of anterior tibial artery. Okay. Just now you have seen terminal division of popliteal artery, no? Which is dividing into anterior and posterior tibial arteries. So anterior tibial artery goes into front of the leg, beta. I'll show you. See this one. Excellent. This is anterior tibial artery, which is one of the terminal division of popliteal artery, is now entering into the foot. So this is the anterior aspect of your ankle area. Here, the anterior tibial artery's continuation is written as what? See here, dorsalis pedis artery. Dorsalis pedis artery. This artery can be used to check pulsations because it is easily accessible. Easily you can check the pulse by just keeping your fingers over this ankle region. Okay, dorsalis pedis artery. Then you just write the names of branches here, beta, because it's only for very short notes. Okay, anterior malleolar. Here also that means it is supplying ankle joint. That's why you have got these terms like anterior medial malleolar, anterior lateral malleolar, medial dorsal artery, lateral dorsal artery. And finally, you can see it is just winding around to form arcuate artery. Arcuate artery. Okay. So this is for 3 marks. Inversion and eversion of foot. Peroneus longus and brevis, they help in eversion. Tibialis anterior and posterior, they help in inversion. That is given in, like we have pronation, supination for upper limb, no? Similarly, here we have inversion and eversion. When the sole is pointing towards midline, you call it as inversion. When the sole is pointing outwards, you call it as eversion. Okay, beta? Let's see where is the explanation. It's a very small table is given, beta, I remember. Inversion, eversion. Joints with, here only you have the movements, no inversion, eversion. Let me check. Yes, inversion and eversion. Okay, see, much explanation is not there, but you can write here. But I told you, muscles producing movements, inversion and eversion. Inversion, what muscles are acting? Tibialis anterior from anterior compartment, tibialis posterior from posterior compartment. Eversion, we have lateral compartment muscles. What are those? Peroneus longus and peroneus brevis. Okay, beta, and the movement I have explained you. Suppose you consider this as sole. If the sole is pointing medially, you use the word inversion. When the sole is pointing outwards, you call it as eversion. Okay, beta, give this explanation. Okay, then inversion, eversion, and the joints taking part, the main joint here you have is subtalar or talocalcaneal calcaneal joint, talocalcaneo-navicular joint. This we usually see when we study about arches of foot. Okay. What is opening in the second part of duodenum, beta? That is for 2 marks.
Major duodenal papilla, hepatopancreatic duct.
Anything else?
Okay.
You said major, no, beta? That means what?
And minor duodenal papilla.
Minor duodenal papilla. So minor duodenal papilla means what is opening there? Inversion, eversion is only for 3 marks, beta. That's why if you write that much, it is enough. Okay.
Okay.
What is opening, beta? Minor duodenal papilla. Ritika, Meghana, please speak out. Accessory pancreatic duct, beta. Okay, this is 2 marks question
Okay.
only, I'm telling. In the second part of duodenum, we have, you said like one major opening, one minor opening. Major duodenal papilla will have an opening of hepatopancreatic ampulla of Vater. No? Minor duodenal papilla will have the opening of pancreatic, accessory pancreatic duct. Okay, beta. Then you, lesser omentum, can you tell me about lesser omentum? Few questions only are there. Lesser omentum. Meghana, do you remember better lesser omentum? Just tell me where is it present? Okay, beta. Anybody? Emma? Ritika? From the lesser curvature of the stomach. I hope you are able to hear me, all of you. Ritika, Emma, Meghana?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'll show you lesser omentum. Okay, explanation. Where is it given? Lesser omentum. It is here. Explanation, but I will make use of pictures to make you understand. See here, beta, this is stomach, right? So in the stomach, this is greater curvature of the stomach and this is lesser curvature of the stomach. So from the lesser curvature of the stomach to the porta hepatis area of the liver, there is one peritoneal extension. This peritoneal extension is nothing but lesser omentum. Okay, the right free margin of lesser omentum will show a hole which actually helps in communication of greater sac and lesser sac. Meghana gave the answer last time. What is the name of that opening?
Foramen of Winslow.
Very good. Foramen of Winslow, also called as epiploic foramen. So that means from the lesser curvature till the porta hepatis, this white area will show peritoneal fold. That is nothing but lesser omentum. Okay, beta? See, this is exclusively the lesser omentum is shown. Okay, so this is the lesser curvature of the stomach and this is margins of porta hepatis you are finding. You are finding this is the attachment of lesser omentum. So what are the contents you see? You are finding right gastric artery, you are finding left gastric artery, and along the margins of this lesser omentum, you will see these VAD structures, no, portal vein, hepatic artery, and bile duct. Okay, this is so lesser omentum. Right free margin of lesser omentum shows an opening, that is epiploic foramen, which helps in the communication of right and left, sorry, greater sac and lesser sac. Okay, beta, whatever we have discussed, no, it is written here, till here. Apart from those blood vessels, we also find proper hepatic artery, portal vein, bile duct, lymph nodes, all will be moving here. Okay, beta? Okay. Lymph nodes and gastric nerves are present everywhere. Histology of suprarenal gland. Explains next question. Suprarenal gland, till I open another answer. Histology of suprarenal gland, beta. Suprarenal gland will have cortex and medulla, right? Cortex will have 3 zones, GFR, zona glomerulosa, zona fasciculata, and zona reticularis. This is our duodenum. This is second part. Into the second part only, you will see the major and minor duodenal papillae. When I was discussing duodenum as general lecture, I have shown you in my PowerPoint very clearly. Okay, so Zona glomerulosa, fasciculata, and reticularis. No, no, because it is histology, you should talk about arrangement of cells. Okay. Now the question is spleen better. Okay. Visceral relations of spleen. See here, spleen has two surfaces, no? So where is the spleen situated? Within the tail of pancreas, we will see spleen. Okay. The surface which is below diaphragm, you call it as the diaphragmatic surface. And the surface which is where you have the tail of pancreas fixed, that area is actually visceral surface. So that visceral surface will have certain organs. Okay. So certain impressions. What are the impressions you see? Stomach impression will be there. You call it as gastric impression. Right colic flexure impression will be there. You call it as colic impression. Then right kidney impression will be there. You call it as renal impression. So renal, gastric and colic impression. And of course in the this hilum region you will see the tail of pancreas. Okay. So these are the visceral relations of spleen. Okay. What are the major openings of diaphragm? Meghna is going to tell this. Major openings of diaphragm. Meghna, can you please tell? Meghna, can you please tell me the openings of major openings? Simple beta. So many times I told you, if you remember. Ritika told the answer already in previous class. Hema knows.
Aortic opening.
Excellent. And?
Esophageal.
Excellent. And inferior vena cava opening. Nice. Very good. So that means we have three major openings beta. I, O, A, 8, 10, 12 is the code. I is inferior vena cava, which is opening at the level of 8th thoracic vertebra. O is esophageal opening, which is opening at the level of 10th thoracic vertebra. Okay. A is aortic opening, which is opening at the level of 12th thoracic vertebra. Okay, beta? That is. Thoracic duct. Can anybody tell me about thoracic duct? Hema?
It comes from the cisterna chyli, ma'am.
Cisterna chyli. Very good. Yeah. And?
It terminates near the brachiocephalic vein.
Yes.
I mean, at the junction of the jugular, internal jugular vein and subclavian, left subclavian and left internal jugular vein. At that junction, it terminates.
Okay. So that comes in thorax, right? So it's the largest thoracic duct. That means it's the largest lymphatic duct, which is actually sharing in, if you just now you've studied about diaphragm major opening, aorta. So through aortic opening only, you will see the thoracic duct is also entering. It is entering into the thorax. It's taking a right turn and then it is opening at the lower part of the junction of this brachiocephalic and subclavian veins. Okay, it is highly beaded in appearance because it has lot of valves inside. Okay, the length of thoracic duct is 45 centimeters. Okay, beta, 45 centimeters. So, histology of suprarenal gland, I'll try to open. That is the only question given from thorax. Because essay he gave, no? Essay he gave. Right atrium. So GFR histology picture we will see. This is kidney, ureter here. Hopefully, yeah, it's given. See here, beta. So adrenal gland will have cortex and medulla, isn't it? Picture, cut section, it's not sure. Okay. So outer area is cortex and inner area is medulla. So in the cortex area, we have GFR zones, zona glomerulosa, fasciculata and reticularis. Okay. So outermost covering, you will have a capsule. Okay. And as you, after reticularis area, we have medulla. Okay. So zona glomerulosa is outermost and it will have large cords of cells. Like you have to draw long lengthy cells and in between you have to show so many capillaries. Okay. Zona glomerulosa. Fasciculata will have large bundle. Like 3/4 of the picture should occupy fasciculata, 1/3 glomerulosa and network type of arrangement of cells you will find in zona reticularis. Okay. And you should talk about hormonal component. Like from glomerulosa, we have mineralocorticoids. From fasciculata, we have glucocorticoids. And from reticularis, we have sex hormones. Okay.
Ma'am.
Mineralocorticoids, yes.
Ma'am, okay, ma'am. After you finish this answer, I'll ask it.
So zona glomerulosa is releasing which hormones? Mineralocorticoids, that is aldosterone. Fasciculata is releasing glucocorticoids, that is cortisol. Reticularis is releasing sex hormones. From medulla, we have all nervous, like sympathetic neuron ganglion cells we will have. Here we will have the release of adrenaline and noradrenaline. Okay, this much you write is enough. Better. Okay. Okay, then next, like it just list of mesonephric duct is asked. So you can write like appendix of, like in embryology textbook, anyhow I will discuss again better. Appendix of epididymis, okay, ejaculatory duct, trigone of urinary bladder, seminal vesicles. Few things you can write for this, okay? Yes, better? Derivatives of mesonephric duct.
Hamstring muscles we discussed. No, ma'am. In that hamstring muscles, you said everything is supplied by sciatic nerve.
Yes.
And
tibial
you
component.
said one exception.
Tibial
something
component.
Yeah. What
Everything is tibial component except for shorted of biceps, which is supplied by common peroneal component of sciatic nerve.
Common peroneal component of sciatic.
Sciatic nerve. If you write sciatic nerve also, it is fine only. But if you want to write more specifically, sciatic nerve will have two components, no?
Okay.
Tibial component and common peroneal.
Tibial and common peroneal.
All muscles are supplied by tibial component only, except for shorted of biceps, which is supplied by common peroneal component of sciatic nerve. Okay, beta?
Okay.
So that finishes all the questions. Right atrium, popliteal fossa, lesser omentum, visceral relations of spleen, suprarenal histology, hamstrings, thoracic duct, second part of duodenum, dorsalis pedis, openings of diaphragm, inversion, eversion, mesonephric duct. Okay, beta? So should I stop here or show like thoracic duct once? I need to open thorax. You want me to show once? Better we'll see the page number first. It's taking time. Just wait.
Okay.
This one better, thoracic duct. Okay. It's the largest lymphatic duct. See? As you said, it is starting like Cisterna chyli, highly beaded. Initially, it starts with L2. It takes a bend at T5, T6 junction from left to right side. Then it is opening at the junction of left subclavian and left brachiocephalic. Okay, few relations are discussed. Okay, and what are all small lymphatics opening there. Okay, beta. So we'll stop here.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.